Hello, my name is Zachary Ware. I want to sit and talk about my travel experiences that I've had in the past, the wildest experiences I've ever had. So, last January, I traveled to more than eight, I think it was eight or nine. It's around those two different, eight, nine different countries. I started off with, I was supposed to go with my dad. I flew from Philadelphia to Chicago, then Chicago to Cancun. I stayed 3 days in Cancun. And then when I was in Cancun, I met a guy on Grinder there, and my dad and I rented a car. And then we rented a car, my dad was getting his teeth implanted because it's cheaper to get his teeth implanted there. So I met this guy there, and then we just hung out the whole time. I think my dad probably saw the car until once, and he paid for it. So I kind of felt bad. I was only supposed to be there for 3 days, but I was. So it was the guy's last day, my second day. So he lost his passport, and he asked me to drive him like 3-4 hours away to get his passport, like a new one, so he can fly back because he's from the U.S. too. So I was like, okay, I'll drive you 3 hours. It was 3.5 hours. So I drove him all the way to Merida, Mexico. In the middle of the night, and I got pulled over, and I had to bribe the cops. I've gotten pulled over twice in Mexico, and they pull you over because they realize you're a tourist from the car rental license plate. So I gave him $50, and I had to like wrap it and put it under the license, my license, to give it to him. And he took it, and then he just let us go. So all that went well. Everything, we had a good time. I took him, and then we drove back, and then I ended up, what's it called? Driving back, dropped him off, gave him a kiss, had fun, and then told my dad bye. I dropped the car off at the airport, and I flew from Cancun to Mexico City. I spent the night on the floor at the airport, at Mexico City airport, because my flight didn't leave until the next morning, and I landed at 1 a.m. So I slept from about 3 a.m. until like 9 a.m. And then my flight left like at 10 a.m. I flew from Mexico City to JFK Airport, New York, and then I landed around 1, and I waited from like 1 o'clock to like 10 p.m. And my flight left from New York, JFK to Cairo, Egypt, and it was a 12-hour flight. And it was a long flight. I slept the whole flight because I was exhausted. But I ended up it was just really, really fun. Oh, by the way, this is my cat, Tinkerbell. Hey, Tinkerbell. Say hi. Come here. You're so cute. Okay, I'm sorry. So yeah, I got to Egypt. I met up with a friend there, and I stayed overnight there. I went to the pyramids, and I remember someone basically the tourist guy that took us on the horse ride got paid twice. He lied to us and said he didn't get paid, but he did get paid. So my friend chased after him and then he got into a fight with him and got the money back and everything. I was like, it's $20. So I spent one night in Cairo, Egypt, and I flew from Egypt to Jordan, and then I spent one day in Jordan. I had a long transit because I was going to Dubai. So when I was in Jordan, I had my vape pen. My vape pen broke, so I wanted to buy a new one. I speak Arabic, so I walked into a barber shop, and I just asked, "You guys know a vape shop?" And then that encounter turned into hours and hours. We just sat and talked and talked. They gave me coffee, invited me for dinner, and then they took me to the airport. Just complete strangers. It was a very nice experience. My flight left around maybe 11 p.m. So I flew from Jordan, Amman, Jordan to Abu Dhabi. I landed around maybe 5 a.m. and I rented a car and drove from Abu Dhabi to Dubai, which was 2 hours. And my hotel, I was staying at a hostel, I think. I don't know what a hostel was, and I booked it because it was so cheap and nice. So I couldn't check in until 2, so I slept in the car from 7 a.m. until 1:32. And then I checked into the hostel, and there was all these people inside. I was like, I don't know these people. I'm not sharing a bathroom with 10 people. So I was like, I'm leaving. So I just left, and then I booked a hotel for I think $20 a night. It wasn't that great, but it was a place to stay. When I was there for 3 days in Dubai, and I met a guy there. Always, I met a guy. He was from the U.S. He was a teacher. He was so cute, and we spent 2 days together basically, and I kind of miss him, but he was just a good friend. And then I ended up leaving a few days after. I flew from Dubai to Kuwait. I met up with a cousin in Kuwait. I was only there for one day, so I landed around maybe 10 a.m. My flight left at 6, and then I flew back around 11 p.m. And I flew back from Kuwait to Dubai, and then my other flight, I waited around 6 hours for my other flight back to the U.S. So I flew Kenya Airways, and I flew from Dubai to Nairobi, and I had an all night layover like I always because it's so cheap. So my deal was not to go anywhere in Kenya because Kenya isn't that great. And I got bored, and of course I opened Grinder and I met a guy there also, and then we hung out. We went to the mall. We had a good time and everything. And then he was like, "Let's go back to my apartment and meet my family and this and that." I'm like, "Oh shit." I was like, "Oh crap, sorry. Oh crap." So I was like, "Okay." So he took me back to this house, and I got to the house, and there was like 10 guys there. No, I'm being sarcastic. There was 4 guys. There was all these guys there, and I ended up getting robbed. It was so humiliating. And then like I had a bruise on me and all that, but these guys are all gay, and they didn't want to admit it because in their country it's very difficult. So they stole $500 from me. They stole my debit card and they made me give them my PIN code, and it was just a whole mess. And they told me that if I report them, I will go to jail because being gay there can get you about 5 years in prison there, and I didn't know that. So they let me go eventually. And I did report it to the police, but I didn't tell them how I met these guys. And I got a police report and I got everything and all that. And then I almost missed my flight back. So eventually all that happened. I got my money back from the bank because I gave them the police report and they checked the CCTV footage and I told them the real truth of what really happened. And it was just a bad situation. But my flight back from Nairobi to JFK was 16 hours and 45 minutes. And I had 17 hours to sit and think about what just happened. But yeah, that's a wrap. That's just all. But this is Zachary where I'm gonna start making videos like this and explaining a lot of my experiences. But say bye, Tinkerbell. Smile, girl. Come on, smile it up a little. Boring. Bye.